What is going on, you guys? Petplatypus here, and it is time to talk about Mob Psycho 100, Episode 5. That's right, no live reaction this week. I also obviously didn't do a live reaction for Episode 4. Well, technically I did do a live reaction for Episode 4, but I didn't really like how it turned out. And I think I can review this series. I originally wanted to do live reactions because it was comedy-oriented, so I wasn't really sure there'd be much to talk about in the way of a review. But these past few episodes have really shown a lot of characterization for Mob, and it seems like the story is taking itself a little more seriously than One Punch Man. Not that One Punch Man didn't have its moments, but the characterization on Mob is really not played for laughs at all. I mean, there's a couple of jokes here and there around it, but overall, it's pretty serious. It's not like an emotional roller coaster or nothing, but that moment at the end of the episode where he reaches 100%, out of sadness because he couldn't stop his powers from going out of control, like, that's kind of heavy for the character, so there's definitely going to be a little bit more meat to talk about if it keeps going at this rate. But other than that, there was other important parts of the episode. Well, important, I guess, like fucking Dimple died. Boo-hoo, so sad. Rest in peace, Dimple. Who gave a fuck, really? Like, I would say, why is he even in the opening? But one, he could come back, and two, this season's probably only going to be like 12 to 13 episodes long, and if it is only 12 to 13 episodes, then obviously you're going to want to include him since he was a semi-major character-ish. So yeah. Also the other dude, what's his name, Teru or whatever, his psychic abilities obviously aren't on par with Mob's, but the fight was still entertaining. The animation was extremely on point in this episode. Animation in this episode was, of course, on point as usual. A lot of good use of dust effects, smoke effects, you know, Mob getting tumbled around on the ground and everything. Artwork is still Mob Psycho artwork, so I'm not really going to talk about that, but the animation looked fantastic. And, yeah, I really like the, I don't even know how I would call it, the finger painting style they have going on. I'm really not sure what kind of art that is, what that art would be called, but that style they use, like when Mob actually does go into that weird, like, question mark % mode, whatever that art style is, I really like that they throw that in there, because it really changes things up, and you never really see that in anime, so that's really, really cool. So yeah, animation, of course, fantastic, on point as fuck, as usual. Pacing-wise, I thought it was pretty good. It moves, it's not really a slow episode at all, but it does move at a touch slower pace. Maybe it's just me because I was wanting Mob to do something. I mean, I figured he wouldn't fight back or he would have some kind of explosion, but, you know, waiting for Mob to actually fight back, seeing him get slammed around a lot, it does make the episode, at least for me, feel a touch slower. But I think that's the point, obviously, as he's trying to get Mob to do something, and every time Mob doesn't do something, it pisses him off even more. And then we get some interesting characterization on Mob where he's like, the psychic powers are cool, but I want to be able to do things without them. He's like, I've started to work out and everything, which is just funny to hear him say that, because last episode when he was working out, or maybe it was the episode before that actually, and he's just like a total fucking, like, he can't do shit. So, you know, that was funny, but I get what Mob is saying, though, is that he wants to have something else other than psychic powers, because without psychic powers, he's nothing. Now, granted, you do have them, that is the fact of the matter, that does make you something, but I get what he's saying, and he tells the other dude the same thing. He's like, without your psychic powers, you're also nothing. So, yeah, he wants to have more to himself than just the psychic kid. He wants to be like, I'm the psychic kid, but I'm working out, I'm getting physically fit, I'm a badass now, you know, he wants to be like that. So, yeah, I definitely think Mob has some really good characterization. He's possibly a better characterized main character than Saitama, based solely on these first 5 episodes. Because Saitama does have good characterization, don't get me wrong, but Mob definitely feels like there's a little bit more complexity to the bottled in emotions and wanting to better himself in a way, whereas Saitama is really just bored with life because he beats everything in one punch, and he's looking for a bigger, greater challenge. And there's a little bit more to him, but overall that's pretty much Saitama, whereas with Mob it's kind of like this, you know, he had this freak out moment when he was a kid and he thought he hurt his brother. We also get the moment with his brother watching the news and he's like, that's not Nissan. And if that's not Nissan, then does Mob have a separate personality, or do his psychic powers have a mind of their own? So there's a lot more to Mob, I feel. Not to shit on Saitama at all, I love Saitama, but still, I would have to say that Mob for me, for the first 5 episodes compared to the first 5 One Punch Man episodes, which, to be fair, I haven't seen in a while, but to compare them to based on these first 5 episodes, I would say Mob is a stronger character in that sense. Not in physical strength, clearly, but yeah, so Mob's a really good character. The comedy in this episode, though there wasn't a ton, it was still pretty good. The animation was, of course, on point. Then you have the pacing of the episode, which was pretty solid. Like I said, it felt a little slow at times, but I think that was on purpose because Mob kept saying, no, I'm not going to fight, and it just kept escalating from there. So overall, the episode was pretty fantastic, to be totally honest. It was probably like a solid 8.5 to 9 episode. It was a great to amazing episode of Mob Psycho 100. And could later episodes blow this one away, and those will become the new amazing ones? Of course. Totally, for sure. But for now, I thought this was one of the best ones in the series, easily. So yeah, and it was cool to see him explode again with a different emotion. And he put the school back together, which I thought was really cool. And that little tidbit with the brother saying that that's not Nissan, that was interesting. So overall, I really, really enjoyed this episode. Thought it was really good. And I didn't really talk about episode 4 much. The only thing I'm going to say about episode 4 is that it was cool to have a new psychic introduced, obviously. The Body Improvement Club, those are my boys right there. Those dudes are fucking hilarious. The lightning and the shading and the fucking... They were awesome. The way they just totally dispatched everybody that went after them easily. They were overpowered as fuck. The music was hype. It was hilarious. The whole thing involving the Body Improvement Club was absolutely hilarious. And I also like that they are not assholes. They're like, we don't really want to fight. We're just here to rescue our friend Mob. You know, that was cool. I like that a lot. I like that they're actually genuinely likable guys, too, to a certain extent. On top of being really, really funny and super intense. So yeah, those are my boys right there. Love the fucking Body Improvement Club. And that's pretty much it for episode 4. The new psychic and those guys. I'm trying to think if there was anything else. I mean, Dimple, you know, interacting with fucking Mob. I don't really like Dimple, so who gives a fuck? But that's this episode. So, with all that being said... What did you guys think of this episode of Mob Psycho 100? You can tell me in the comments section below. You can also follow me on Instagram or add me on PSN. I'm petplatypus on both. You can also give this video a thumbs up and share it on social media. Both of those would help me out a lot. Subscribe if you haven't already or if you like what you've seen here. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.